different responses.
He's gone through all kinds of trauma. I'd ran over him with a trailer one time.
This is true facts.
That's a trauma.
Hey there, Nomads Lore. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Sean.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home. Today we're going to be doing our second video or another video talking about the reread that is going on right now. This video is intended for people that are rereading The Way of Kings with us. This is reread, not first time through, so there will be spoilers. Full spoilers all the way through Cosmere, everything.
Words
Anything
of Brandon,
that's been
books.
read. Yep.
Exactly.
So, if you're a first time through, you probably don't want to be in this video. You
We can
can
link the other one. We talked about some of our favorite moments.
Yep, and awesome things to be paying attention to. So, I guess let's get started with some Herald Sightings.
Okay, so we're going to kind of start with some telling you some things. Now, we should also notice if there's anything we miss and on our reread here, make sure and let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
So we've been tracking Herald sightings. We see heralds show up at various places in the novels, and so the first herald sight, now other than the Prelude, of course, the heralds are there as their heraldness, but the first herald sightings that we see is the night Gavilar died. Now we know that or you might know, especially since they're named by name, some of them, that there are more heralds there, but we see two different heralds there. We see Jezreel either drunk or just mad, probably the latter, especially, and he's sitting there and he says, "Have you seen me?" In fact, all three times we see Jezreel show up in these books, he repeats, "Have you seen me?" And so what does that mean? We don't know. Does it mean he's in the room with statues, and one of them is of him, presumably. And so is he talking about that? Now, those statues aren't everywhere, I don't believe, in the other scenes where he says the same line. So, is he looking for radiance even while he's mad? Is he trying to find people? Is it a nod to... Is it maybe a nod? This is kind of a weird one, especially since he says it every time, kind of shoots it down there. But is he talking about Szeth, who's acting as a windrunner right now because of the honor blade, or is he, so we don't really know. And then, of course, in the same room, we don't see another herald, but we see her handiwork because, of course, Shalash's statue is removed, and we know that her as Ash with her little gang of people is going around ripping up paintings and taking down statues of herself. We also don't really know why she's doing that. Is it because she feels that she's guilty about what they've done? Is it because she's nuts and this is the way her nutsness is? That didn't sound good, but her nutsness is acting out,
Yeah.
And so we see a couple heralds already in this thing. So we also have some Cosmere sightings, some things from all around the Cosmere verse, except it's just the Cosmere. What do we see with that?
So mainly, there's a couple of them, but first of all, Thydakar is already mentioned. Which is crazy to me that he's already mentioned in the first. How many chapters do we do? 12, 15?
Yeah, but that's even in the prologue.
I know, but it's just like,
and people have been excited about Thydakar and for a long time. Yeah, it's wild how much is already in here.
And as Gavilar is dying, he says, you can tell Thydakar that he's too late. And so what is he talking about there? I mean, it's his first assumption of who killed him is he immediately goes to Thydakar, which is kind of interesting. And what is he too late for? We have no idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it the stone thing? Is it the...
Yeah.
Is it something we don't read that one? I don't know if I have a theory for. What is he too late for?
Yeah.
What has Gavilar already done at that point? And I feel like we don't really even know. Was he just was it bluster? Was it I mean, we know enough about Gavilar to
Is
it
it
wouldn't
is it
surprise me
something
if
he
it's-
laid in, like plans laid?
Right.
You know, that something's falling. Who knows? If you have an idea or a theory, you should put it
Absolutely.
below. We will definitely look at it. The other scene that's a Cosmere sighting is the interlude that is at Pure Lake, where we see how many? Three different people from different planets. And it's a real interesting scene. We get to know in this scene that the 17th shard are after Hoid. Who's Hoid? We just talked about him in the last... For those of you that weren't in the other video.
Yeah. We didn't spoil it for him. We didn't tell him Hoid is Wit. And
I didn't say Hoid at all, even though I wanted to.
We didn't say anything about Topaz.
I am still surprised that Hoid, the word Hoid was mentioned so early as well.
Right.
It's just, I mean... I feel like I read a whole lot of books before I finally was like, oh, Hoid, okay, this is a character, we're going to, whatever. And this, I don't remember, did I start with Mistborn or this? I don't remember.
Mistborn.
Yeah. Anyway, super interesting. We have Grump, Blunt, and Thinker.
Yeah, which are the names that the dude gives them.
Yes.
Whatever
his
name
which
is.
are Galadon, Bayon, and how do you say the last one?
I'm pretty sure it's Demu. From Mistborn.
Yes,
you actually still haven't read White Sand. You need to, even though it's terrible. Yeah, you remember Galadon from Elantris,
yes.
the guy the scholar friend guy.
Yes.
Whatever. Yeah, so he's there.
Yeah,
Baon is from White Sand. He's what's her face? Kriss's friend. I had a thought about Kriss the other. Somebody was asking about the leader of this is real quick rabbit trail because this is all book spoilers. I'm gonna get this out there, but we'll probably do a video with more of this kind of stuff later. But in the Sunlit Man, don't you skip ahead like 2-3 minutes.
Yep.
I'll go like this when I'm back if you haven't read it yet. So who is the leader of the what is that I hate the name of, the Night Brigade.
Oh, Night Brigade.
Night Brigade.
Yeah.
So it's a woman. So there was some people trying to theorize about who that was. And this is a terrible theory and it's not true, but I had the thought I was going to type it in a comment, but to this on this Facebook post or whatever, but I got to doing something else and so I didn't. So anyway, this is a terrible idea, a terrible theory as far as who it could be, who this person is. People were theorying Azure and whatever else, varying other people. So I thought, wouldn't it be like hilariously awesome if it was Kriss? That would be like the Ars Arcanum scholar turned leader of the
Death Brigade. The Night Brigade.
Anyway, so throwing that out there.
Yeah. Such a good book, by the way, Sunlit Man.
Yeah,
if you're a Cosmere fan and you're watching this video, you should have already read it. But if you haven't read it, you should go watch it.
Well, some people may have just got it recently.
I guess
so
that's true. That's true.
They,
okay, so I guess we can turn to discussion.
Yeah,
and talk about some of the really interesting points that were found along the way.
Yes, through chapter 13. We didn't say that at the beginning, but that's where this is. You know what we forgot to do in the last video? Dang it, I'm gonna have to do a cut in later. Our next read is through chapter 28, I think. Is that right?
I can pull it up on.
I've got it right here.
You're gonna find it probably at the same time I am.
Yeah. So through 27. So through 27 is our next reread in 2 weeks, which will be the date
November 3rd.
November
17th.
November 17th through chapter 28 will be our next section.
Through chapter 27.
Yes.
To chapter 28.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Through 27. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll have to cut in on
first thing we were going to talk about that's on this list is Szeth. Szeth being childlike and misguided, but intelligent. So what was the point you were making about his intelligence?
So I just noticed as I was reading, so the picture of Szeth, as us who have gone through Stormlight and up to this point, and or up through Rhythm of War, our current, you view Szeth as being this childlike idiot kind of, who's trying to do the right thing, but he kind of seems dumb, and he kind of like he doesn't or not. That's not really that's an oversimplification, of course. But
like not able to think for himself.
Yeah, like or not wanting to,
not.
or and I'm excited in Stormlight 5 to learn more about why he is the way he is, and I think the shit, us as readers kind of have this end up getting about the same picture of him as a Shin representative as it seems like the people in world, they kind of view him as like kids and childlike, and they're all seem that way, and so that's kind of my mental picture of Szeth. He's honorable, he's a cool character, but he's like I don't remember thinking about he's actually smart too. But I noted as I was reading in the prologue at him piecing together this cobbled together, but semi-elaborate scheme to try to get the king, Sadeas, as pretending to be the king, and whatever, and him figuring that out in the middle of fighting and doing all this stuff and trying, we know he's fighting and doing all this. Not only is he fighting for his life and trying to do all these crazy things and whatever else, but he's trying to wound people and not kill them. We know that's happening at this point. And so he's got all these things he's juggling, and he figures out this plot in the middle of this thing. And so that I noted, it just kind of struck me as I was reading that he's not an idiot. He's actually quite smart and whatever else too. He's misguided, and he's got a lot of religious things going on with him that and so he's stuck. But
it's almost like his character almost regresses, and maybe because of what he goes through after the trauma of killing the king and all the
you're talking about that stuff,
because it's like
he gets ditched, right? He gets the Parshindir like, here,
we're done with you,
and so I forgot that he had to we see that scene, the one that you were excited about. I totally forgot that he has to stand there with his stone sitting at us like, here I am, whatever, in his and we still don't really know. I'm sure we're gonna learn a lot about this in Stormlight 5. We still don't really know what truthless means. Not really. I mean, we know what he said. He said that the Radiants are coming back, and they're like, no, you're an idiot. And he's like, okay. And I'm sure it's way more complicated than that, so we've got to know that much. But so anyway, I'm excited about Stormlight 5 for learning more about Szeth and getting
just a
even
little bit
more.
that we got to hear Brandon Reed last year. Yeah, I'm super ready for that book.
Yeah,
I'm super ready
super
for
cool.
That book. So, next thing, possible foreshadowing of maybe just an interesting connection of the antechamber and the Pallanaeum called the Veil. That's pretty cool. You tell it because you're the one that found it and was thinking about it.
Another thing that I noted as I'm going through is that it's called the Veil, and of course we know Shallan becomes Veil, and I don't know whether this is just like
your mind connecting it.
Like happy accidents.
It makes sense. Yeah.
But the more I was thinking about it, the more there's just kind of connections. This is she's not able to enter the main. Not becoming whole. Not whatever. She's stuck. She's stuck in the Veil. And the Veil also is this room with lots of small rooms split off and whatever else, and only some of the lights on, and darkness in other rooms, and and all this stuff. And I don't know. It may be just a coincidence, but
I doubt it. After you said it, I mean, it'd be interesting. We should definitely look it up.
There's so many things that make it clear that he knew a lot, that Brandon was figuring out. He knew a lot of things.
I'd love to know he knew a lot of things before he wrote this book. What you're saying.
Yeah, he had a lot planned out.
I'd love to know his thought process and his note taking and like how he keeps all this straight.
Well, because some of that at this point is done with the team, but at this point it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And whatever else.
Here he was
at least not a very big
lowly
one.
Brandon, with a couple of guys. Anyway, super interesting.
And
then also that the Pallanaeum was carved or built by the singers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Super interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't even catch that the first time.
Yeah, so what did they use this place for? We don't know very much about their culture. I actually, I know some people didn't like in Rhythm of War the it being from Vinley and Eshonai's perspective, but I loved that. I thought that was super cool. I'm excited to learn more about their prehistorical culture. I think we will, since we've seen some, singers as well as listeners. I
think we had to have it from their perspective. I mean, to the whole culture war and everything that's going on between the factions and everything. I think you had humanized them at some point, and that was a really easy way for Brandon to do that, or one of the best ways.
Yeah, so we see a lot about Shallan's family. Did you remember the scene with her brother and your reread I'd forgotten that scene in there and whatever, where her brother is torturing the creatures, and I'd forgotten how much that, and then she keeps having, I forgot
the recurring
that she gets these memories of that. I remember that she gets
like
the memories.
The knife in her hand.
I just didn't remember that we got this much this early.
Yeah.
We see so many things.
There's so many little hints too, yes. And then her brother being crippled at an early age. Like there's all these little like, okay, wait, what is going on with her family, and why are they in such dire straits?
Clearly very messed up, and whatever else.
Where's mom? And why is dad gone now? And
how did he die?
How did he die?
And all the things. You get a lot of stuff with all of these characters really quickly in really efficient. You see that with Dalinar too. We see so many things. We get so many motivations that are really strong. We learn just how strong later. Right? But take note. Wheel of Time show people, you don't have to fridge a character at the beginning of a thing to create compelling motivations for a character. Sure. There's all kinds of other things that you can slip in there and whatever else. But yeah, we learned tons of stuff about all those characters already. So we've seen 3 characters that are traumatized already. We don't know how much all of them. We see some of Kaladin at this point, sort of. And
his later trauma.
Yes. We don't see his flashback trauma, but and we see them handling it differently. Kaladin's with his protecting the weak young people, and we see Shallan with her art and all of these. We see that. They would see the one scene where she draws like 50,000 creation sprint or whatever, and just that, and her release of her pain and whatever through there. And then Dalinar, of course, is obsessed with help. We see that actually in our next reading section, we get even more of this, but we see Dalinar with him protecting Elhokar, and that being everything that matters and whatever else. We see like him leaving. I mean, he sees that he's fine, and he also trusts Adolin, right? But he leaves Adolin to his own son, to his own devices, and goes and rushes to save Elhokar, and whatever else. And so we see all these different handlings of grief. What have you thought about I guess the question is what, as you've re-engaged with these characters and what all has gone through your head, whether it's their trauma or like what are you thinking about character development at this point and all of those things?
Again, the crazy thing is like how much Brandon knew going in. Like I feel like he had notes upon notes of like all the way through things we haven't even seen yet, and kind of knew where he was going with each character, because there's so much groundwork laid for Kaladin, and his, I think his is beautifully done. You get little tiny glimpses, little tiny hints at what happened with his little brother. You don't know exactly, but he talks about his brother missing or his brother dead. I don't remember. He says something about him at one point, and then all the things. But his feeling like he's always a failure in everything that he does, and feeling like he's too far gone, I guess, has been very impactful in me. But Shallan has, like, I think she's kind of grown on me, probably because of your like for her, but she has so much going on. I feel like there's even more groundwork, even though this whole book is about Kaladin. I feel like there's been more groundwork laid for her story so far than really Kaladin. Kaladin's been all like current moment. We've had little bits flashback, but it's not like anything big. But hers is like I don't know. And it's because I know the future story that it's so impactful, I think. But it's just like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on with her. And then Gavilar, we don't have a lot of his...
You mean Dalinar?
I mean Dalinar.
Yeah.
Dalinar, we don't have a lot of his trauma other than Gavilar's death.
Right. We don't have like him and
the actual,
his wife and all that.
The other trauma. And so I don't think that groundwork is really being laid at this point. But there's... No. I don't know. There's something about each of these characters that there's not this... I don't have the same connection to any of Robert Jordan's characters that I have to these. And there's more pages written about Robert Jordan's characters. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because, I mean, I really feel that Robert Jordan did a really good job with Rand and his trauma. And especially like when he gets, take it like boxed up by the women and all of that stuff. And there's
we're not in full Wheel of Time.
I know. Sorry. Oh, yep. If you haven't read Wheel of Time, anyway. But I don't know. I feel like, especially this reread, this is my second read, so I'm able to focus a whole lot on the details as they're coming through, because I already know what the story is going to be. I already know what's coming, but I can, I didn't pick that up the first time. And I'm sure the third and fourth and fifth time through, you catch even more stuff. But it's just, I'm loving the character development. It's phenomenal.
So just a quick mention, this one should have been up in our things that we're telling you that are there. But we already get a hint, strong hint, that Shallan has a shard blade already.
Oh yeah.
Which if you catch that on your first read, then that's like, wait, what? I'd have to, let's see, is that before? Yeah, so I think that's before we get Dalinar and I think that's before we get I have to double check, but I think that's before we get Dalinar and Aelin's scene. But they make such a big deal of 10 heartbeats. 10 heartbeats. That being, but it's I think the timing is important there. Because
you've heard it a couple of times, because I think even
Szeth mentions it. Yes, he does.
Mentions it.
He does.
And then you hear it from her.
Yeah.
There may have been even a third time, and then they make a big deal out of 10 heartbeats. And
and what it is, and like what it connects to.
Connect it as you're reading that first time through. It's pretty interesting. I even read it, but even this time I read hers and didn't connect. Oh yeah, but I mean, of course, I knew she had a shard blade.
Right, but didn't
think about it.
Anyway, so I think that's pretty cool. So one thing I did want to talk about that I noted as I read this, so. There's probably the two most impactful scenes in this this chunk are probably Dalinar saving Elhokar and Kaladin and the Honor Chasm. One thing, what I felt this read through, it felt like Kaladin switched really quick, like he was about to kill himself, and then Syl comically brings him poison and whatever else, and he makes this choice, which is a cool moment. Like, I love that moment, and him getting up, and if I had it open or whatever, I could read you the passage. It's that moment is awesome. Like his and the her telling him to come and do it. Let's do one more time. Let's come and let's, him deciding, okay, I'm going to go one more time. I'm going to go help people. I'm going to, so that moment is awesome. It just felt like on this read through that he went from that moment to like completely okay again. Now we know, I mean, he's going to go through a lot more, and he's not fully okay.
Yeah.
But it felt like he was all of a sudden okay again in this read through, and it kind of felt jarring, and I didn't love it on this reread, and whatever else. I didn't, in the first two times I've listened to this or whatever, I didn't feel that way or whatever. And I don't know if it's because I'm going slower this time, and and looking for things and thinking about it more, and being very intentional about trying to find things and whatever and all that. So I don't know if it's that or not, but it just felt really quick. I don't know what you intentionally didn't talk about this a couple minutes ago.
Yeah,
so.
I have, like, I get what you're saying, and I understand. I mean, it does seem like a quick turnaround. I think you even made part of the point yourself of, we obviously see that he's not okay.
Right.
And it was kind of a brave face that's brought up. And so that's part of the point. But the other part of the point that I was going to make is that in real life, I've been to that place before when I was younger, much younger. Suicidal thoughts. I think a lot of people go through that, but I've had other traumatic experiences since then, and different traumatic experiences have created different responses.
Yeah, he's gone through all kinds of trauma. I ran over him with a trailer one time.
This is true facts.
That's a trauma.
True facts. And so I didn't even do anything to him. He just ran me over with the trailer.
I don't know. I still claim he pushed me off the horse. Anyway, you've had different responses.
Yes,
to
had
traumatic
different responses to traumatic experience, where I've taken a lot of time to process. Actually, kind of going through that right now, taking a lot of time to process, things that happen, and then finally starting to feel normal. And then there's been other times where things have happened. It's like I make a decision, and I'm probably not okay, but I put on a brave face and I feel back to normal a whole lot faster.
It is, and I think it is important that it's a choice to take a step forward, and I think that's what we're seeing in there. And I think, again, it's I don't know that it's even a critique of the scene. Like it's and you're right. Like, and I've had the same sort of experiences where I'm crying in the shower and whatever else, and I'm upset and frustrated about whatever, and I'm down, but then make that decision to do a thing, and you're not good to go, but you're good to go, and so it's definitely realistic, and it definitely fits. It just I don't know, for whatever reason it racked me. So the last note we have is, of course, we get the beginning of Hoid's attempt to get the Avengers of the Cosmere to assemble and come and help stop Odium, because he thinks this is a terrible thing. So in case you want to know and you don't know and whatever else, this letter that Hoid is writing to Frost, he's a dragon. We've seen a lot of those at this point, including Cultivation and the new one, whatever is in Tress, whatever. And
I can't remember the name.
So it's Frost is a dragon, and Hoid's known him for a long time, and potentially since before the Shattering, even. But and he's from Yolan. I wrote on here from his home planet because I couldn't think of the name, but it came to my head just now. From Yolan, so he's from there. So he's trying to get help, and so that letter goes in the epigraphs from chapter 12 all the way to chapter 28 in this particular book, and so we'll see more of those letters.
Which is super cool.
Do you have any? Well, we can kind of end on this brief because this is a longish conversation, but we can add some half eloquent and maybe not so eloquent thoughts on it. What do you think, off the top of your head, not prepared, because that could be interesting? What do you think Hoid's plan is? What is he? Right now, we'll limit it to his plan to stop Odium. We don't think about after, and is he trying to reforge out of Nalcium, and is he trying to whatever? We'll leave those theories for later. What do you think his plan is for Odium off the top of your head. Unprepped thought. So who knows what kind of silliness is liable to happen. But we'll
his plan is to gather.
He's lost his breath. He's lost some breaths. And
Yeah,
we've got
lost some
Todium
breaths.
now. And he doesn't remember that Todium is a thing. So
Well, we don't think he remembers.
true enough.
We don't think he remembers.
We don't think he remembers. We know he survives for centuries after because
of
Sunlit Man and whatever else. So we know he at least survives.
Well, maybe that's part of his plan. Maybe his plan is to.
Do you think he's so a common theory is that Kaladin or Dalinar or somebody is gonna reform Honor and whatever else and become Honor, and do you think that that's part of Hoid's plan? Do you think he's trying to do that, or does he actually even care about Odium, or is he just using the fight against Odium for some bigger thing? Is Hoid actually going to be the big bad in the Cosmere someday? I had that thought the other day. I don't think that's impossible, honestly.
No. I think it's more likely that what's his face is the big bad, but
Says it.
Yeah.
No,
I think maybe that might have been his intention, is to reforge Honor or something, and maybe that's where he was headed, and then Sunlit Man happened.
Sunlit Man happened?
Yeah,
You mean whatever happened at the end, whatever is going to happen in Stormlight 5 happened?
Stormlight 5 happens. Like, I think maybe so I guess you're asking what his plan is. Yes, maybe that is his plan. Maybe something to do with
Does he even have a plan? That's the other. I mean,
that's a good point.
There's plenty of there. He's definitely doing things, and he definitely has knack for being at the right place at the right time.
I think he has a plan, and maybe his plan is throw everything at it because he's been going around getting, or maybe it's like doing something himself, becoming the ultimate whatever.
Yeah.
Because I know he's been going around gathering things and finding things and being in the perfect place at the right time to get the perfect information for other things. I don't know. What do you think it is? Who knows?
I don't know that I have anything more intelligent than that. He is particularly interested in Roshar because he's spent the most time there of anywhere else we've seen. So that's my biggest question for you guys and that I'd love to hear your thoughts on is that because he's being truthful and because we know he can't hurt nobody because of the Dawn Shard that he held, or he can't do damage except possibly to cognitive shadows, maybe when they're in, because he punches Kelsier in the face. Don't really know what's going on with that. So and what does that extend to? But that's a whole nother can of worms. There's a lot with Hoid in the conversation. This could be hours and hours worth of of talking. But is he there because he wants to stop Odium? And is that the main reason he's spending most of his time there? Because he thinks Odium's going to destroy the Cosmere or whatever else? Or does that just happen to coincide with his bigger goals and larger goals for the Cosmere or Adonalsium or the Dawn Shards or, all these other things? Or is he just like the Doctor going around doing crap and like doesn't really have a plan and whatever else? You know?
I wonder if his plan has anything to do with like somehow taking Odium's power.
Could be.
Like his whole overarching thing is to become one of the most powerful beings ever or something.
He seems to be collecting types of investiture. Definitely.
Exactly.
That's true.
And so I wonder if his thought is, okay, what can I do to get to this step where I can I don't know, what is Odium even, where's his power come from? I don't even know that. Odium.
That basically means hate, but it's more than that. So, of course we learn in, like Oathbringer and Rhythm War and whatever else that he's all about passion. and whatever else, and drive
because that's
and
the whole
emotion
when they fight
and all of that. So, and I don't know, because Hoid has already collected a type of investiture because he gets a Spren, right? And he becomes so now he has at least 2 types of light weaving in his tool belt, and he can
saw
also
Odium's effect. I just realized you saw his effects, or like, I don't remember when it was, but it was talking about feeling. Oh, I think it was Dalinar, maybe Dalinar or.
Oh, we see the thrill for sure. So we'll definitely see the Unmade's. There was actually something else that I was wondering if it had to do with one of the something I saw online. This is a Stormlight. This is a Stormlight video, so there's so much things. I knew there was something about Shallan's brother, Nan Balat or whatever. Oh, yeah, apparently, in a word of Brandon, it's not as clear as what I think some people are saying on some places, but it's hard to tell whether he's talking about his wanting to hurt creatures or whether it's the fact that helps him. So one of those 2 things or both there's magic involved with it. There's something going on there, and his depression essentially is magically involved. And so it's that's what made me think about it, is that's probably, if that's true, and it's from Odium, because we know that her father is affected by Odium. We know that for sure, because as we've seen that, and that's been said emphatically. I don't remember whether it's in the books or words of Brandon or both, but that. And so her father is affected by Odium directly. And so, and the way Odium usually affects people is through the Unmade. And so is there an Unmade involved with Shallan's family and whatever else? I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about Shallan's family. We'll get into theories of, is Shallan's mother a herald? And, we'll get into all those theories later, probably in Words of Radiance. But, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. A lot with what is own. Yeah. So we're gonna like I said, anytime Hoid is brought up, we can spend hours. I've got 20 tabs open on my phone right now from the Copper Mine. What have you enjoyed from this section, and what did we miss, and what are you excited about? This is full Cosmere spoiler. So what are you excited about in this book? As we're rereading, what are you excited about in just the Cosmere in general, Stormlight 5, all the things? What else do you want us to talk about? Is there anything else I'm forgetting to? No. Go join our Discord and talk with us on there. And if you're up to it and you feel good about it and all of that we'd love your support over on Patreon. We're doing some exclusive video content and some Discord roles and some this and that and the other thing. Some who knows what kind of fun shenanigans, as well as extra video content and all those things. So thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Later.